Have you ever watched the truth get twisted in real time, when a lie spreads faster than breath? This is the story of Marcus Reed, a quiet black man whose stop at a busy cafe turned into a viral storm that exposed how fast prejudice can turn calm streets into chaos. The morning sun over downtown Dallas carried that kind of soft heat that sticks to glass. Marcus Reed had just finished a night shift driving for a medical courier service. His uniform still smelled faintly of sanitizer and rubber gloves. He was exhausted, hungry, and proud. His twin girls had finally gotten into the charter school his wife prayed for. Life was steady. Simple. Good. He parked across from Jasper's Café, a spotless corner spot known for its craft coffee and fast Wi-Fi. He'd been there before once. He liked the way the barista smiled, the way the jazz tracks echoed off the tile. Inside, the place buzzed with early morning chatter, suits tapping laptops, college kids whispering deadlines, a table of police officers laughing over pancakes. Marcus stepped in, shoulders squared, smile ready. "Medium dark roast, 2 sugars," he said. The barista nodded without looking up. He slid his debit card across the counter. That's when it started. The card machine blinked red. "Declined," she said flatly. Marcus frowned, checked his phone. That can't be right. Try again. Before she could, a man at the next register, a regular in golf gear, snickered loud enough to be heard. "Maybe he's just chasing the place," he muttered. Laughter, small, sharp. Marcus froze, half-smile fading. "Excuse me." The man shrugged. "Relax, man, it's a joke." But it wasn't. Everyone knew it, even the barista, who suddenly seemed unsure whether to swipe his card again. A manager appeared from the back. White shirt, perfect hair, name tag reading Todd. He leaned on the counter. "Is there a problem here?" The golfer answered before Marcus could. "He's getting loud about his card." Marcus blinked. "I wasn't." Todd cut him off. "Sir, I'll ask you to calm down." That word, calm, hit harder than the joke. Marcus lowered his voice. "I am calm. I just want my coffee." The manager's eyes narrowed as if calmness itself was suspicious. "Let's step outside, sir. We can sort this out." He looked around, people pretending not to look. The officers at the back table stopped laughing. Phones tilted subtly upward. Recording. Marcus knew this pattern. He'd seen enough clips online to recognize the choreography of accusation. "Step outside," Todd repeated, louder this time, performing for the audience. Marcus exhaled. "Can I at least get my card back?" "After we verify it." "Verify?" Todd folded his arms. "We've had incidents. You understand." He didn't. He stepped outside anyway, because sometimes peace is the only defense you're allowed to keep. The morning air felt heavier now. Through the window, he saw the barista whisper to Todd. One of the officers inside rose slowly, hand brushing near his belt. Within seconds, the automatic door slid open again. 2 officers stepped out. "Sir, we got a call about a disturbance." Marcus blinked. "A call? From who?" "I was just—" "Hands visible, please." Pedestrians slowed. Cars honked. Someone yelled. He didn't do anything. Another voice shouted back. "Then why are the cops here?" Chaos loves a crowd. Marcus kept his hands open, fingers wide. "I didn't raise my voice. You can check the cameras." But procedure had already replaced logic. One officer moved behind him. The other asked questions faster than answers could come. "What's your name? Why are you here? You work nearby." He tried to explain, words tumbling out like prayers. "I deliver medical samples. I was buying coffee. My card." "Sir, we'll check that." Phones lifted higher now. One live stream caption read, another one getting checked for breathing while black. Inside the cafe, Todd looked uneasy now. The barista whispered. He really didn't do anything. Todd hissed back. Let the police handle it. But handling it had already turned into performance. The taller officer's tone sharpened. "We're detaining you until we confirm your ID." Detaining. That word cracked something in Marcus's chest. "I gave you my license. You have it. What are you detaining me for?" No answer. Just the shuffle of gloves, the low hum of radio static, the whisper of fear wrapping around him like smoke. And then sirens. 2 more cars. A reporter from a local morning show across the street noticed the crowd and came running with a cameraman. "Is this an arrest?" she called. "Ma'am, step back," an officer barked. Marcus stood silent now, heart pounding. The street that had ignored him a minute ago had turned into a stage he never auditioned for. From somewhere behind the phones, a voice rose, young, sharp, furious. "Let him go. I got it all on video." A woman pushed forward, Aisha Grant, a college student who'd been studying in the cafe. "He didn't do anything." The manager lied. The officers turned. Todd froze inside, realizing the crowd had picked a side, and it wasn't his. Aisha kept recording. "Y'all see this? This man ordered coffee, and now they're surrounding him like he robbed the place." One officer stepped toward her. "Ma'am, move back or you'll be detained too." She didn't flinch. "Then you'll have 2 of us on video." Marcus whispered, "Please, don't make it worse." She shook her head. "It's already worse. You just haven't seen it yet." For a split second, everything stopped. The reporter's mic caught every breath. Then, an order crackled over the police radio. "Unit stand down unless threat is confirmed." The officers hesitated. Todd looked out again, face pale. The barista held up a screen from the register, the card reader blinking approved. "It went through," she whispered. "It actually went through." The tallest officer turned toward Marcus, tension deflating like a punctured tire. "You're free to go, sir." No apology. Just those 4 hollow words. Free to go. As if freedom had been theirs to give. Marcus looked at the crowd, at the eyes that had recorded his humiliation frame by frame. He took his receipt from the trembling barista, nodded once, and walked away, without a word. But stories don't end when cameras stop. They begin there. By nightfall, the clip had 3 million views. Hashtags everywhere. #CoffeeWhileBlack. The city's mayor tweeted, "We must review policing protocols." Jasper's Cafe locked its social media accounts. Todd disappeared from the internet. And Marcus, he sat in his car in silence, watching his own face on every news feed. The world had turned him into a symbol before asking if he wanted to be one. He didn't. He just wanted coffee. The next day, protests formed outside Jasper's. Peaceful at first, posters, chants, calls for accountability. Then came the counter-chants. Someone threw a cup. Someone else shouted a slur. Tension rippled like static through the crowd. Police formed a line. A voice over a megaphone begged for calm. And right in the middle of it all, Marcus showed up again. No cameras, no entourage. Just him, holding 2 cups of coffee. He handed one to Aisha. "I figured we might as well finish what we started." She smiled through tears. "You shouldn't be here." He shrugged. "Maybe not. But they need to see what peace looks like too." By afternoon, the whole block looked like a movie set. Reporters clustered behind yellow tape. Handmade signs waved. "Coffee equals courage. Racism is still brewing." Helicopter rotors thumped above the glass awnings, scattering the chants into rhythm. Every network wanted the same shot, the man whose calm had become a headline. Marcus kept to the edge of the crowd. He'd spent the morning trying to explain the unexplainable to his daughters. Why Daddy was on TV. Why people he'd never met were screaming his name. Why something as small as coffee could make a country argue about right and wrong again. His wife, Lena, had cried. Not because of the attention, because she'd recognized that blank stare he wore when his father was stopped years ago in a grocery store parking lot. It wasn't fear. It was exhaustion shaped into silence. He had promised her. No speeches. I'll just stand there. But promises dissolve when truth catches fire. Aisha spotted him first. "Marcus, they want you on camera." He shook his head. Then the crowd noticed. A wave of phones lifted. Applause. Shouts of "We love you, Marcus." Someone pressed a megaphone into his hands. He almost handed it back, but the noise around him begged for words. He took a slow breath. His voice came low, steady, the same calm that had confused the officers. "I'm not here to fight a cafe," he said. "I'm here because every quiet moment like that adds up, and one day, Someone's life ends where mine paused. The street went still. He wasn't yelling. He was narrating a truth too tired to scream. You don't have to break glass to break a man. Sometimes all it takes is one lie said loud enough. Applause rolled like thunder down the avenue. Even the police line shifted uneasily. Inside the cafe, Todd watched from behind drawn blinds. His phone was blowing up. Corporate calling, attorneys calling. The owner, a woman named Janet Sloan, paced behind him. "We need to make a statement," she snapped. Todd muttered, "We did. It wasn't racial." Janet slammed her fist on the counter. "Then why does the world believe it was?" He had no answer. Because everyone saw the tape. The smirk. The call. The silence. Janet opened the door and walked straight into the crowd. Cameras swarmed. "Jaspers is suspending operations," she announced. "We failed a customer, and by extension, we failed the city." Reporters shouted questions. "Is Todd fired? Will you press charges?" She hesitated, eyes meeting Marcus across the crowd. "We'll start by listening," she said quietly. To him. That night, Marcus's inbox filled with invitations, talk shows, podcasts, brand deals, speeches. He ignored them all until a message from a number he didn't recognize appeared. From Councilwoman Marisol Hayes. Subject, coffee law. "Marcus, the city is considering a new bias response policy for public establishments. I need a face the public trusts. Will you testify?" He stared at the message until his screen dimmed. His wife whispered, "Maybe this is why it happened." He answered, "Or maybe they just need someone to clean up their conscience." But the next morning, he put on the same navy jacket from a cafe and went downtown. City Hall smelled like microphones. Journalists lined the walls. The first speaker, a police union rep, defended the officer's reasonable response. Then Todd testified, reading from a script about miscommunication. He avoided Marcus's eyes. When his turn came, Marcus stepped up without notes. "You've all seen the video," he began. "You saw me standing still while a sister moved around me like I was gravity's mistake. That's what bias looks like when it's polite." He told them about his daughters, about the jokes he'd swallowed so jobs wouldn't vanish, about the way silence became armor because anger got labeled aggression. "I don't need another apology," he finished. "I need a policy. I need training that stops the next Todd from dialing fear instead of reason." For the first time that day, the cameras stopped flashing. They just listened. The ordinance passed 3 weeks later. The READ Act required every public business to record bias incidents, retrain staff, and report police calls triggered by customer disputes. It sounded bureaucratic on paper, but to the people watching online, it felt like vindication. Marcus didn't celebrate. He visited his father's old garage instead, the one that smelled like oil and gospel music. On the wall hung a faded photo of a younger man in overalls, cuffed, surrounded by officers from a different decade. Marcus touched the glass frame. "We're still here," he murmured, "but at least now they have to write it down." The calm didn't last. A month later, an anonymous account posted unedited security footage from Jasper's Cafe, a new angle the public hadn't seen. It showed the moment Todd phoned police, followed by a second call from a uniformed off-duty officer sitting inside, whispering, "We've got a situation here. Black male, possible theft." The leak reignited everything. Comment sections erupted. Protests swelled again, this time outside the Dallas police headquarters. Marcus's name trended for a second time, not as a victim now, but as a movement. By evening, crowds stretched 10 blocks deep. Drums, chants, banners reading, record everything. A young organizer grabbed the megaphone. "We're marching to headquarters. No more silent arrests." The roar shook windows. Marcus pushed through to Aisha. "This can't turn violent," he said. She nodded, tears streaking through the dust. "Then you have to lead it." He hesitated, then climbed onto a planter box. Phones turned upward like stars. "Walk," he said. "No shoving. No shouting names they can twist. Just walk." Hundreds obeyed. A moving river of quiet determination. Reporters called it the Silent Mile. At the steps of headquarters, lines of riot police waited, shields reflecting sunset. The commander stepped forward. "You're trespassing on city property." Marcus raised both hands. "We're on public ground. Same as that cafe." The crowd murmured approval. Then, from somewhere in the back, a bottle flew, smashed harmlessly near a cruiser, but enough to trigger panic. Shields lifted. Shouts burst. Officers advanced 2 steps before the commander barked, "Hold." And in that suspended moment, Marcus did the unthinkable. He walked forward alone. "Talk to me," he said. "You've got kids watching this on live streams right now." The commander hesitated. "Step back." Marcus stayed. "I already did once. You remember how that looked." A strange hush fell. Then the commander lowered his shield. Applause swept through the crowd like wind through trees. The news that night called it a standoff turned standstill. No arrests. No injuries. Just a city learning, for one rare hour, to breathe before breaking. This act closes the arc. National attention, personal cost, and a redemptive ending that feels cinematic but real. Built for YouTube storytelling and emotional payoff. By sunrise the next day, drone footage of the silent mile looped across every network. Anchors used phrases like a peaceful confrontation, a turning point, modern civics in motion. But inside Marcus's small house, the glow from the screen felt less like praise and more like pressure. He hadn't slept. Every ping of his phone was another request, another stranger deciding what his story meant. Sponsors offered coffee ads. Talk show producers promised sympathetic interviews. He scrolled past them all. Lena sat across from him, holding her mug with both hands. "You taught people to stand without yelling," she said quietly. "Now teach them to keep standing when the cameras leave." He nodded, and something clicked. The protest wasn't the ending. It was the trailer. The real story had to be the change that survived the trending hashtag. 3 weeks later, he stood in Washington, D.C. The rotunda of the Capitol buzzed with microphones and the low thunder of waiting reporters. He'd been invited to testify before a federal oversight committee reviewing bias reporting laws. Aisha sat behind him, whispering, "Remember, this is bigger than coffee." He smiled. It always was. When the chairwoman gave him the floor, Marcus unfolded a single page. America keeps teaching its children that justice starts when sirens end. But justice starts before the call is ever made. I'm not anti-police, I'm anti-panic. Every false call is a confession that fear still outranks truth. The words echoed against the marble. No applause, just the stillness that comes when people finally hear something they can't unhear. That night, the speech hit 12 million views. Clips spread on TikTok with captions like "Anti-panic, not anti-police." Celebrities quoted him. Local councils from Seattle to Savannah drafted read policies that copied Dallas's reporting system. But the fame brought backlash too. Threat emails. Troll accounts calling him professional victim. One morning, graffiti appeared on the cafe's boarded windows. "Go home, hero." Marcus stared at it for a long time before picking up a brush. He painted over the words with one sentence. "Still here." People stopped to take pictures. Within a week, the cafe reopened under new management. Janet had turned it into a community hub offering job training and free Wi-Fi. The sign above the door read, "Reed's Place." Marcus tried to refuse the name. Janet said, "You gave us a second cup at peace. Let us give you this." Months passed. The protests cooled into programs, then policies. The city launched workshops led by both activists and officers who had once stood on opposite sides of that tape. Kids painted murals of open hands and coffee cups. It wasn't perfection, it was progress. One evening, Marcus was invited back for the reopening ceremony. He arrived late, nervous, watching families laugh under the same awning where his silence had gone viral. Aisha found him near the curb. "Look," she said, pointing at a small plaque by the door. In honor of the moment, calm became courage. "May every witness choose truth over comfort." He read it twice before speaking. "Guess I finally got my coffee," he murmured. Months later, his daughters did a school project called "People Who Changed Our City." They printed a photo of him at the march, arms raised, face steady. Underneath they wrote, "Our dad taught Dallas how to breathe." He taped their drawing above his desk at home, right beside a headline that read, "Local Bias Call Ordinance Expands Statewide." He didn't frame it for pride. He framed it for proof that silence, when chosen, can be strategy, not surrender. Sometimes racism doesn't roar, it whispers. Sometimes it doesn't strike. It circles, waits, doubts. And sometimes, all it takes to end it is one person refusing to match its volume. If you've ever felt small in a room that judged you before you spoke, remember Marcus Reed. He didn't shout. He stood. And because he stood, a city moved. If this story moved you, hit like to push it higher in the algorithm. Share it with someone who still believes calm can't be powerful. And subscribe to this channel. Help us reach 5,000 subscribers so we can keep telling stories that show strength inside silence. Stories about real people, real change, and the moments when ordinary lives rewrite history.